So I just came from watching Rings of Power season 2, episode 1 and 2. Yeah. Even as a guy who watches trash so that I can review it for people who won't watch it, this is just it's torture level bad. It's genuinely very bad. It took me like 3 days to watch the first episode because the first episode was just unwatchable sludge. And I wanted to come here and just do a review yelling trash, 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 trash. Yeah, it would be easy to do that. It would be easy to just yell trash, it's trash. But I wanted to watch the second episode so that I can have like proof of why it is trash. Yeah, it is just painful trash. The only way I would see anyone watching this or defending it is because Lord of the Rings is there. If this show you took it exactly as it was and then just gave it a different name, I don't know, like Kingdom of the Elves or something like that. Don't put Lord of the Rings. I guarantee you nobody would watch or defend this garbage. People only defend this garbage because it has Lord of the Rings in the title, because it is using a famous IP. Now, I'm going to have just minor spoilers here and there. Minor. It's 2 hours of trash. You shouldn't even watch it. Anyone telling you this is good is lying to you straight up. It's painful to watch. So, see episode 1. The way episode 1 begins, I actually liked it. Whenever the story moves to the Halbrand Sauron side, it's mildly watchable. However, I remember in the opening sequence, I just remember telling myself, isn't Sauron a Maya? He's like, you remember that he's introduced in the Fellowship. He's this big dude. You know, he's mighty, god level, yeah? He's not a human being. So this sequence where, it's actually in the trailer, it's in this season 2 trailer. There's this sequence where he does like into this sludge. You're watching and you're like, what the hell is happening? You're like, how is this Maya? Sauron is a Maya. How is it? Like a Maya. I'm sure Lord of the Rings fans know what a Maya is, right? I think also Gandalf is one. So like these angels, wizards type beings, right? So how is a Maya turning into this sludge thing? Oh, the rest of the episode is just trash. It's trash because one, the dialogue is horrible. Horrible. With their Galadriel, Calabrembora, Aragiona. Horrible having to sit through it and listen to it. It's like someone stabbing me in the ear all the time. Then when they cut to the Harfoots, now you only have to deal with 2 of them, and the guy who's not Gandalf. Their fucking accents are annoying. Like everyone has to like punch in their accent so that you know they're Scottish or Irish or whatever. It's funny, in the Lord of the Rings trilogy by Peter Jackson, you never get this. But here you have to Nori, the fucking Harfoot the way she talks. Ugh! And like 80% of the show is just dialogue, you know. So the whole thing is just this unwatchable sludge. The whole thing looks like cosplay. Terrible acting. The only person who is not acting is Halbrand. I think it's called Charlie Vickers. Charlie Vickers plays a very good Halbrand, Sauron. So he tries. He's in the role. But everyone else is just acting. Especially that hiking motherfucker. He's just this fat dude. Galadriel. Shit acting. Everyone is just a shitty actor. Everyone except Sauron. The Nori story has nothing to do with the main story, so you're just watching it. It's wasting your time. And I can already see some simp for Rings of Power being like, give it time, it connects. I hate this show, man. This show is just, how anyone can take it seriously is embarrassing, man. Episode 1 was just awful. It took me like 3 days to watch it and finish it. There's this one scene where they wear rings and then the lights, and then like this tree lights up. I was just like, why is this happening? Who cares, man? happening because it's happening. Most of the show is stuff is happening and it looks pretty. So enjoy. That's what most of the show is. It's so hard to avoid sleeping. You fight off sleep as you watch this badly paced garbage. But episode 2, where I actually could stay awake long enough, I got to feel exactly why this show is trash. Well, there's this one scene, as I said, minor spoilers here and there, where Halbrand goes to Eregion. And then he says he wants to see Celebrimbo, and then Celebrimbo is like, nope. There's this confrontation Halbrand has with the guard, and it was like the most best written scene. Why? Because it had confrontation. It had two characters who are, like butting heads, and the dialogue was decent until you go back to the rest of it. And everyone is like, Galadriel, I understand it when they're speaking in other words, in other languages, but when it's just blatant English, why do you get this here, but not in Lord of the Rings trilogy by Peter Jackson? You don't even get this in The Hobbit. Even in The Hobbit, people don't talk like that. It's so bad. It's so bad. Oh my god. It's so bad. And for some reason, as usual, the Rings of Power, especially like episode 2, I haven't watched episode 3, but 2 episodes is enough, because 2 episodes is like the length of a whole movie. There's this thing I keep noticing where, as usual, Rings of Power is trying to remind you of the Peter Jackson films. For example, in the Harfoot storyline, they have this part where they're like, where Nori is telling the stranger, face it, we're lost. Because that's what Sam tells Frodo in The Two Towers. There's this one dude in episode 2 who literally reminds you, literally reminds you of Saruman. In fact, when I saw him, I thought it was Saruman. Yeah, he looks just like Saruman. Just the style of his beard, the shape of his face. You're like, this dude is definitely here to remind you of Saruman. And then suddenly you see the Harfoots are being chased by dudes on horses. I'm like, that's literally taken out of Fellowship of the Ring. It's just the same concept. The acting is so bad. It's so bad. There's this one scene where the Harfoots are in the desert. These dudes find them or try to find them. Then they hide. And then a snake appears. So for a couple of seconds, I sat up and I was like, oh, let's see what happens. Then one of those dudes who's hunting the Harfoots just kills the snake instantly. This show is zero tension. Zero tension. Zero. Most of the times, it's just dialogue driven for the purposes of just being dialogue driven. There's this one sequence in episode 2 where an earthquake happens. Then they have dwarves singing to talk to the mountain. And then this Disa, the wife of Durin, is arguing with the king. And it's just this long sequence of talking that goes nowhere. It goes nowhere. It goes nowhere. If you've watched it, comment below and tell me what was the point of that section. Nothing happened. Nothing worth your time happened. It was just talking to talk. It was just talking and arguing just to fill time. I've suffered. I can't believe those are 2 episodes that I just watched and I've suffered that hard. Out of 10, I give this a -5. It makes Madame Web look like a masterpiece, and I hate Madame Web. I gave Madame Web a 0. So I give this a -5. It's painful. Painful. And to the person who's going to be like, hey, it's not a movie, so the pacing. I've watched TV shows with tight pacing. Yeah, 8 episodes, but tight pacing. It knows how to move from fast to slow. Even House of the Dragon season 2, which was heavily dialogue driven, there was a point to the dialogue. This one, most of the dialogue is skippable. There's no need to even... there's this one scene where Nori, the Harfoots are talking about some joke. Hey, how about we name it this? You've already said that. Hey, how we... Terrible. Oh god, the dialogue is so shit. Everything looks like cosplay. It's such a tensionless show. Nothing happens. And of course, it looks pretty. So on a superficial level, when colors are on your screen, someone will be like, "Oh, it looks good." So yeah, 10 out of 10 masterpiece. Trash, absolute trash, trash.